Every month we receive money from the German government. We receive Kindergeld. When our oldest was a baby, we received Elterngeld. We didn't learn about Elterngeld until we moved here and learned that we, as parents of a baby, get money from the government. I said, but we just moved here and I don't work yet. They said, you are still entitled to a base amount regardless of your employment status. The idea of receiving money from the government just for being parents was completely alien to us. When we were kids, when my sisters and I were kids, we lived in Los Angeles and we were raised by a single mother. And there was a point where we really needed assistance. And the best that we were given were food stamps. And sometimes we didn't qualify for those food stamps because my mother made too much money. So we were between not making enough to have enough food and things that we needed and making too much income when you have a baby. In California, you do get paid family leave, but that is if you have been working in the same company for the last 18 months, and the paid family leave is only paid for up to 2 months, I believe. So 8 weeks. And you must, even if you're working the last 18 months, maybe you're working a job where you're not paying into the social security system. That's possible. In order to get this paid family leave, you have to be paying into the state disability insurance. If you're not paying into the state disability insurance, then you won't receive any paid family leave. So when we moved to Germany with our baby and young kid, I said, I don't think you understand. I don't work yet, have never worked here, and I haven't lived here for very long. But they said, are you a legal resident? I said, yeah, so? They said, well, you're entitled to monthly payments for up to 14 months. 14 months? Did you say 14 months, not weeks? Yes, 14 months. Unfortunately, they said, your child was 7 months old on arrival, but we can back pay a maximum of 2 months, even though you were not in Germany at the time. We hope you understand. Furthermore, because you have not worked here at all, and your husband just started working, we could only offer you the minimum amount of 300 euros a month. Okay, but we are also getting Kindergeld. Will our Elterngeld be deducted from because we're getting Kindergeld, or are we getting both? No, of course not, silly. Your Elterngeld for your baby and your Kindergeld are two separate things. You will get your Elterngeld for your baby and Kindergeld for your baby and your older child. We felt so unbelievably grateful for the quality of life and to live in a society that takes care of its people, every single citizen or every single resident. We weren't citizens at that time. We were just mere residences. When we were kids in Los Angeles, we didn't receive any type of governmental assistance outside of those food stamps. My mother did not receive Kindergeld to support us. She certainly did not receive any Elterngeld. Let's talk more about this Kindergeld because once your baby gets older, the government realizes that kids are expensive and they need support. So every family in Germany, every legal resident, and every citizen, of course, receives Kindergeld. Let me be more specific about the eligibility. Eligibility requires a valid residence permit and other criteria such as being a German citizen, an EU citizen, or a refugee or a person entitled to asylum. How long, you ask, can you receive Kindergeld for your child? Until they are 18 years old, and I believe up to 24 years old if they are still living at home and attending university. California does not have any monthly payments or benefits to support families. Yes, of course, they have benefits. They do have income tax credits, and they have welfare systems for low-income families. But of course, you must be low income and you must prove that you are low income. And the primary difference is that the benefits are not monthly payments and they are not for every family. So yes, in general, taxes are higher in Germany and salaries are generally quite lower than in Los Angeles and San Francisco. However, we actually see where our taxes go. We see it in the social infrastructure, we see it in the social systems, and we see it on the very streets. I don't remember the last time I saw a pothole for example. But let's talk more about the where you see it in the social system. So for summer, it's a struggle for a lot of parents to figure out what to do with their kids. And at least here in Heidelberg, and I'm very sure in other cities in Germany, they have a similar program. But in Heidelberg, we have the Heidelberg Ferienpass, which is 11 euros. And that 11 euros entitles free entry to a lot of parks and fun activities around town. For example, the zoo. We have this trampoline place, bowling. It's either free or highly discounted. I know the zoo is free. And the pools, because kids love going to the pools in the summer. So the pools are free. In addition, they have these day camps that could either last a few hours or some of them last a whole week. You sign your kid up and it's by lottery. You say you enter what your kid wants, you choose out your class, and then they allot each family what is available through like a lottery system. Each kid gets to choose up to 3 camps. And these camps aren't just like BS camps. These camps are really cool. Like last summer, my kids went to a theater camp. There's woodworking camps, art camps, music camps, basketball camps, archery camps. There was this one camp that I signed my oldest up for. By the way, getting your older kids into camps is a completely different topic. So my older one always fights with me on this. But the coolest camp I ever signed her up for was to be kind of like an intern for the newspaper, like the local newspaper. And the kids had to go to like local businesses or interview somebody kind of not famous per se, but a well-known person. They got to interview them and say, we're working for this newspaper. Can we interview you? And most of the time people say yes, because they want to be in the newspaper. So not only are they being promoted in the newspaper, your child gets journalism experience and they get their own name in the newspaper. Like, how cool is that? All for 11 euros, not 11 euros per camp, 11 euros for the whole summer. I seriously cannot imagine this happening in California. Each one of those camps would be at least $700. So anyway, so that is my summary of the benefits you receive as a resident or a citizen in Germany. If you like this video, please think about subscribing because it helps me make more content. Thanks for watching. Bye. Every month we receive money from the